And we'll start with the consideration of the park board minutes from October 2nd. Is there a motion? Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, any changes, additions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Minutes are passed. Item 3, review the 2013 Parks operating budget. Everybody have a chance to take a look at this? See that we are requesting essentially the same amount of money as last year. Has this gone through finance and that's what they're requesting, Liz, is the?
Gone through finance and it's set up for public hearing
Okay.
with the council and public.
With the finance number there?
The date
19th, I think.
of December, or November?
November
I'm
19th,
sorry.
I think, is when they approve to have a public hearing.
Okay. Is the
So-
finance number, is that the number for the budget then?
Yes.
Okay, so essentially what was requested and what's budgeted is about a $500 difference, give or take. Any comments or questions on the budget? Proposed budget?
Any significant changes, Tom, that you can point out or not?
No, I mean, we just look at, try to do a 3-year average, basically, and then look at the current expenses for this year, and we were asked to reduce the budget, but, as we go through line items, if we had excess funds in one and we were low on the other one, I try to even everything out. And we came up very close to what they requested, and I feel comfortable with that.
Any other comments, questions? Is a motion to recommend approval of the budget to the council?
So move.
I'll second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Was that Kurt or Randy?
Randy made the motion, and I believe Pam seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Budget is went for approval. Okay, item 4, update for moorings. A couple things. Number one, we had our subcommittee essentially met last week, and Tom has had some correspondence with the Army Corps of Engineers to do what we like to do there as far as our proposal of extending the dock, changing Gordy's dock and extending that in some capacity. They sent us an application that we need to fill out and submit, and I believe it's a feeling of the committee. And also, I'll get to what was submitted by the people who hold the mooring units at this time. The feeling of the committee is to proceed with an application to the Army Corps to extend the dock situation, to change Gordy's angle of the dock and then extend it in some capacity. Also, as you have seen the emails and read the information submitted by the moorers, they had a meeting or two, I presume, at least one, where a majority of the people who hold the mooring units at this time submitted their recommendations, and it seems like the subcommittee and maybe even the Field and Park Board from last meeting, as well as the people who use the mooring units right now, is essentially the same to some degree, is that we'd like to come off of Gordy's dock and extend a dock out to hold dinghies, which they can access and use to get out to the sailboats. Am I kind of summarizing that okay, Tom? I mean, you were at the meeting, Pat Casanova was there, Liz was there.
Like Paul said, that I have spoken with the Corps of Engineers, and they are requiring that we submit an application, which I've already started working on. It's basically to modify the current docking situation, turning the the docking to an angle where it'd be easier for the parking and taking off of the excursion boats, and to possibly have 2 excursion boats on there. Also, we've been requested and talked, a lot of the business people have requested that we consider adding on to the docks that, or the dock area where the people come in and park for, come in to shop or visit Hudson or have supper or whatever. So we'd like to incorporate some larger areas there. And then, of course, the area where we're gonna have some dinghy storage, that's gonna be included also in the plan.
Right, so we're trying to, hopefully if the Corps approves it, which we hope they will, Gordy's dock will get turned, so it'll benefit his operation. We'll have more parking for people visiting the city, which benefits downtown predominantly, and also extend the dock out in some capacity so we can store dinghies on it, and so that we can service the mooring units. I want to thank everyone who holds a mooring unit now. They got together, submitted a plan that helped out a lot. You did some investigation into docks, digging storage type things. That was all very helpful. And I believe there's going to be a meeting next week with Gordy. Tom, have you set that up yet?
He'll be back in town next week. He's
Yep.
currently in warmer climates, I think, but he'll be back next week. So we're going to try to set up something with him, hopefully Monday.
So the plan would be at that time to try and formulate a better map of what we're going to do or plan that can be submitted to the Corps. But I think what we're looking for tonight is some discussion about, this seems to be the best plan, based on what we've talked about, and also it seems to be a feeling from the people who use the mooring units is a good plan, is to use the gangway down at Gordy's dock, and then extend that in some capacity out towards the mooring units. I'm not sure we're gonna be able to hit 1,300 feet as they submitted, but there might be, we'll figure that out as we go here. But I think what we're looking for is some discussion on that. If that's the feeling of the park board, do we want to pursue that as our number one option? And then secondly, if we want to see the plan before we recommend it to council. I know at the next meeting, Tom wants to be able to say, this is the direction we want to go in. We want to be able to apply for the permit. Do we want to leave the design of the dock to the committee, or do you want to have that brought back to the December meeting before we submit that along with the application to the Army Corps? So I'll throw that out there. Ask questions.
It seems like it makes the most sense to me. I mean, I certainly support the idea of utilizing the existing access to the river via Gordy's dock to get people safely down to that level. Plus, it gives the people gives us a solution that can go up and down with the river, because obviously that's what's happening. So I think it's the best overall solution, so I support moving forward. I guess as far as the plan, I guess I don't have it quite visually in my mind as to what you would do here, how much extra cost we're talking about either. So is that still to be worked out in the subcommittee kind of deal here as far as?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
As far as exactly how we're going to attack that, I suppose it would be best to get some more costs and bring that back, and then recommend to the council a funding source in December. The committee, not the committee, but the people who hold the mooring units now suggested that did say that there is a potential grant that we could look at acquiring, but if we get that or not, we'll figure that out. But that's something we have to look at as well. But yeah, I think we need to have one more meeting with the subcommittee to say here's kind of the design we're looking at that we'll submit to the Corps, and then kind of go from there.
What's
bring
our
it back to the committee.
timetable? Are we on a timetable here? Do we need to get something in front of the council at a certain point, or?
I don't know if it's a council timetable, but as far as the application, I think there's at least a 30-day waiting period. I think they have to have a public hearing.
Okay.
So we have to get the application in, and then there's another application we have to send into the DNR, so that could take a while. Just a clarification, though, if there are, the way I understand it, if there's improvements on the existing courtesy dock, that would be, actually, Mr. Jarvis owns that property, so any improvements would be at his expense. But as he generates revenue, I'm sure there'll be a charge for people storing the dinghies on his dock. As people using the, the courtesy docks as they come in, they're charged for that, so just clarification.
Right, so we'll have to work that whole plan out, but
No.
I think we should apply or ask the council, or let the council know this is the direction we want to go in, if the park board agrees as a whole. This is the direction we want to go in, we want to apply for it, and I still think within that 30-day window, we could submit more materials. So we could have, we could submit the application and then submit the plan of how we want to do it, or maybe it's one or two plans and let them, we'll figure that out, I guess, but the plan of how we're going to do that. So we can meet in early December and then decide, this is the plan we want, and then, see if the council will bless it, and then send it in with the application. Ron?
What's the chance we won't get approved? Plan B. That we get shut down at the court.
Well, currently, we still have the existing permit, so I mean, the excursion dock and that would stay the same.
I understand, but I'm talking about, city council dropped this in our laps. We can't have mowers on the dike. I think that's something we need to possibly voice back to city council, that we might need a little extra time on this to get it done correctly. And they might be a little harsh with telling us, hey, got a drop dead date, everything's off of there.
Well, I think what we do, let's pursue with Plan A,
I
then
understand.
next meeting, let's talk about Plan B, and have
understand.
the backup.
And I agree with Randy. I think this is a great idea, and I think we should go ahead with it. There still are some questions, but what kind of arrangement will we work out with Gordy? What is the real expense going to be? So,
I think we could have more of those hard numbers at the next meeting.
okay.
So, but I wanted to bring up to date where we're at now. Again, the mooring group made some recommendations I thought were really good, and we'll kind of meld that all together with a plan. But we definitely need to pursue the application with the Army Corps now to get that time clock running. So come January, I think we'll kind of know where we're sitting for sure. And next meeting, we can come up with a Plan B if the Army Corps, DNR don't want to play ball.
Well, I guess, Tom, what kind of feedback, what's your feeling from your conversations with the Corps on this?
It's been the conversations have been very limited. I was
Okay.
fortunate to get a contact person,
Okay.
and I've spoken with them a few times. We've emailed a few times. And the last conversation was that I asked if we could modify the current permit. He replied no, that we'd have to resubmit a new permit. So that's kind of where we're at. But I think the ultimate goal is that we get the approval for the Corps for a different permit. And as soon as we know that, we can move forward. And if we are allowed to modify the current docks, that we have that in place, so we can have this all in place for the next boating season. That's our ultimate goal, is to have this done. So I think the first hurdle is getting this permit, and then once we know that, then the construction of the modification of the dock, according to Mr. Jarvis, can be completed by summertime, but the sooner we get an answer from the Corps is really kind of the critical thing.
Right. I mean, obviously, if we don't get an answer by February, we'll have to come up with maybe a temporary solution. We have to work with the council on that. So,
How detailed does the Corps ask you, or I guess require you to be on the application?
It's, a lot of it's, on the existing permit, we can get some of the information off that, but it's location, it's dimensions and things like that.
which we have a lot of already, like you said. So, it's only like is it 3 or 4 pages back?
Yeah, that one's only 3, but the DNR one's quite larger.
Right. So,
So the addition to Gordy's dock is gonna be paid by
Yeah.
Gordy?
Gordy.
Tis not.
And then he's going to charge the moors above and beyond the $565 that they pay? Is that how I'm understanding this?
That's something we'd have to work out,
We
yeah.
have to, yeah,
or include that.
we're gonna have to, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that part out. So,
Are there any guidelines or any rates that are established by the state, or we've had other items where there've been guidelines that we can put in place, right, for different fees? Is there anything that,
the guideline is that it's gotta, there's gotta be a cost associated with it. You can't charge above and beyond the cost of the program. So, there's no specific dollar amount, but I think it's just relegated to that, if I remember right from, is that correct, Liz?
Correct.
Yeah, from reading the permits. So,
Just a quick question, do we have an existing arrangement or a contract with Gordy that covers a period of time, and then is that renewed however often, or where do we stand with that? Right?
It expires, it expires next year, so that needs to be renegotiated also. So it's in the timely framework of
Okay.
doing that, and he's willing to do that also.
Do we typically extend it to 3 years, 5 years, 10 years?
It's varied.
It has varied,
It's
okay.
been anywhere from 3 to 5 and 10, an extension of another 3. And it's been different over the years.
Are you saying it's in place through 2013 and then we need something, or do we need to do something in
Before.
2013?
You have to do something in the next couple of months.
Oh, in the next couple of months?
Well, or, over
Yeah.
the, before the 2013 season.
Because I guess I don't want to go down a path and find out Gordy's
Right.
leaving, and here we are, so that's what I was concerned
it'll all
about. so-
have to be tied together.
Okay, all right.
That, actually, the timing will be good then.
Yep.
Okay.
So any questions or further comments at this time? Yeah, you guys want to make a couple comments?
Hi, I'm John Lown. I'm mooring A1 from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Been out there, the Darja. My father first started mooring our boat there in 1955. I have a lot of pictures of where we once sat, and the mooring system, I don't believe that this dock is going to accommodate enough room for what's granted for the size of the mooring area. Already the way that the docks are set up, all the boats approach cutting through the mooring to enter the docks. And my concerns with this large dock would be a few things with the way the sailboats are moored right now. If you ever see when there's low water, some of the sailboats, when there's a south wind, are probably about 8 feet off the shore. So that's going to realign everybody moving out a lot farther. Added traffic with power boaters cutting through the mooring area to access the dock. How much dock is going to be allowed for the storage of dinghies? In my mind, if that was going to be the plan moving forward, each of us would need a 4-foot section to pull our rowboats up on. I guess I have a lot of concerns with how the docks and making the courtesy docks larger, and how that's going to encroach on the mooring area, and moving forward, and knowing that I've been run into twice. Other boats have been running out there. Approaching my mooring at night, you've got all kinds of sailors that are leaving establishments late, reaching for running lights and this, that, and the other thing. And it's dangerous out there. And I guess those are some of my concerns.
Okay, thanks, John. So-
One more thing, if when you look at the how that is set up and where it kind of comes to a pie in there, and there's not a whole lot of room from the bridge and how things square off and the way the wall angles out. There's not a lot of room to accommodate more dockage in that area.
Okay. Anyone else?
My name is Dennis Kroll, and I have a mooring on A14, and I'm a Hudson resident. I just want to say that I don't think that we've quite, within the mooring group, have reached any consensus yet. And I think that the paper that you probably have is not representing a lot of us. At least I know at least 8 of us are opposed to that grand dock kind of scheme on a couple different counts, maintenance and the cost of it. And I think that by the time it got built, it would have to have another stairway. But I want to just say I have some reservation about the idea of rowing from the Grand Duchess area all the way through there. If there were a shorter dock that just stored dinghies, the idea of rowing through there is similar to the idea of rowing from the boat launch area. It's hazardous, especially in the when you have bad weather, and if the light goes low and you need lights, or boats have lights. Most of the dinghies don't have, or small tenders like that don't have lights, nor are they required to have lights. As I mentioned last time, I think that if there were a dock just for the dinghies or the tenders, I think that would be, if you gave them each 5 feet of space, it would be 250 feet long, which that's a little bit longer than the distance from the current town dock or Gordy's dock to the first mooring. That distance is about 225 feet. Just to give you an idea of how long that is. 1,300 feet is the length of the mooring area, and to row from that corner down through there when the wind is coming out of the south, and you get the foot or foot and a half high waves. It's pretty difficult. It's difficult actually rowing straight out to the south from the 25 feet from here to the wall that I row when the wind is coming out of the south like that. Anyhow, that's my 2 cents. We are actually coming up with a lot, or evolving in our thoughts, I think, a lot of the people that are involved, and I think you'll probably hear some more of that. But my main reservation with that, with keeping all the boats in or dinghies in a group at that point, is just the distance and the hazard of going through there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dennis. Anyone else? Okay, bring back to the board. Is there a motion to have Tom present this to the council at the next meeting, to inform them what's going on, that we'd like to pursue this is kind of the rough plan, and that we need to apply for the Army Corps permit and DNR permits.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Is there anyone that drafted this last information we got? It's Harvey here. I was just curious as to, in there, they had the possibility of applying for a grant. I was wondering you know, I don't have a lot of information on that grant. How long would that take? You know, as we move forward, I mean, if this is, plus, when's the grant gonna be available? If it's gonna be next summer or next year? I mean, this, I know how grants go. Sometimes it takes a long time, so.
I agree with you. I think that, I suspect that it would take quite some time. If you applied this spring, it might not, if there were some money awarded, it would probably happen in the middle of the year. And that grant, the big grant, I forget what it stands for, boating something or other.
Boating infrastructure grant.
Yeah. That grant, my understanding is that it's there's $100,000 to each state every year, and I would imagine that if somebody apply, and it's only available for transient boating, as in the, and it would apply to the dock area where transient boats come in right now, and there is a need for that in that area. Anyhow, $100,000 to each state each year. You'd probably be lucky to get a small part of that or a half of that. I don't know.
Just curious. Thanks.
Okay. Further discussion? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Item 5, incorporate the City of Hudson outdoor rec plan with the St. Croix County outdoor rec plan.
We received a letter from Robert Heisey from St. Croix County Land and Water Conservation Department, just seeing if there was interest in joining their the regional St. Croix County regional plan. Possible benefits would be that if they were to incorporate our park comprehensive plan, that if there were, would apply for grants or other funding, federal, state grants, that we would be eligible for extra points and possible, more beneficial looks on grants and things like that. So on the back side of the issue sheet is a draft resolution that we would present to the council. I believe it would be next meeting is November 19th. And I think it's a good deal, a good plan. I think it would be good for us and good for the St. Croix County Regional Park that we would be part of that plan.
Is there any downside, Tom?
Not that I'm aware of.
Now, if we're included in their plan to make a change, I mean, it's difficult enough to change our comprehensive plan. Do we need to go?
We're just basically a part of their plan. We're just appendix, that our plan is in there to show people that people who actually go to the St. Croix County Regional Park Plan, they can look at theirs, and then actually ours will be part of that. So I think it would benefit our parks also that they can see exactly what the City of Hudson has in our.
Sure.
So I think it's actually going to improve our visibility, and I think it'd be beneficial. As far as the downsides, I'm not aware of any.
Well, the only question I have is, because we become part of this, if we want to change our plan, we don't have to get their approval.
No.
Like that, we still have autonomy over our parks. Okay. That's your understanding too, Liz?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Motions?
I'll move to approve.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 6, project update, parks projects. Tom.
Most of the summer projects have been completed except, with the exception of, we do have some funding available for the automatic locking systems for the restrooms. I have been in contact with a few vendors, and we're just about done with the bid specification, so we'll be sending that out shortly. So that's still ongoing, but getting a lot closer. After visiting with a few of the locksmiths, I think we have a good plan where it's a standalone unit where it's not so expensive, where each individual lock is energized by electricity, and it's not going to be the card access style like we've worked on with the city hall. So I think it's going to be within our budgeted money, that we have budgeted for this. So that's still ongoing. Burton Park, we finished up the playground. We did a little landscaping. My wife and I just live a block away from there, and my wife said one day, "What's that noise?" We were out doing yard work, and I said, "That's the kids playing at Burton Field." It's just incredible. You go by there all the time. It's like it's just kind of come to life again. So
It has totally revitalized that
Yeah.
park. It's amazing. It has. It's really neat to see that.
other than that, we're doing some fall cleanup. We're mulching leaves. We're blowing leaves. We got the hockey boards up on Burton Field, so that's just kind of the things that we've been working on the last few weeks.
I also want to say that taking those big posts down,
The light poles.
has made a huge difference, just aesthetically, how much it seems like that's opened up the Burton Field. It's
Good.
incredible. And like you said, I mean, to see the amount of kids down there playing on the equipment is just a joy to see that park almost like reborn again. So
Great.
wait till we add the rest of the pieces of our puzzle down there. It's going to be really neat.
Good.
Just another note, we've been approached by a business person that purchased the land at the business or the rest area. I think we talked a little bit about last meeting. I did visit with him the other day again, and he did offer, there's a single garage that's available. I think that we can move. I would like to consider moving that up to Grandview Park, somewhere east of the water tower, in between there and the parking lot. I think we could store our, some of the equipment that we have, the four-wheeler and the drag that we use for the infield work, some tools and some of the other things, and get them out of the building, in that concession area portion. So I think it'd keep that area a lot cleaner. Plus, we wouldn't have to trailer up the four-wheeler every day. And the other thing that they still have another structure that we moved out to the Meadows Park. I think that's salvageable. I think we could possibly consider moving that up to Prospect Park on the old hospital site. I think there's an area where we started some of the new trail systems a few years ago. Something we certainly can discuss.
Good.
Part of the other inside of the building, the main building is a block structure with limestone exterior. The size, which makes it very hard to move. I think just the sheer size of it is more than we need at Burton Field for a restroom. So I think that's going to be very difficult and probably not really an option for Burton Field. But things that are inside the building, toilet sinks, furnace, cabinets, hand dryers, lights, anything that we can salvage out of the Middle East, out of the inside, I should say, is we can certainly work on this winter if we see that there's a need for it. So
That's great.
I think that's, there could be some things that we could salvage out of there. So that's
Good.
very nice of Mr. Robson.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions for Tom?
How's the deer hunt going?
I haven't got an update yet. I've heard
I
that
almost
they,
hit a deer by Aldi's. Are they gonna have a stand-up there, do you think? Or-
I know there's been a few, deer hit on Cooley Road, couple down actually on St. Croix, but right by Willow River School actually too, so. I have not got an update from Mr. Faya, so I couldn't tell you for sure.
It is in process though, obviously.
I've heard they got a few, but I don't know the exact amount.
Any other questions? Is there a, item 7, other business for information purposes only for upcoming agendas?
I think we have some guests in the audience tonight, and maybe you wanna acknowledge, maybe they have some questions of our board, maybe?
Is there a spokesperson for the group? You want to tell us what troop you're from and come up to the microphone? Would you come up to the microphone, sir? Thank
Yeah,
you.
we knew we'd get somebody on TV.
Well, my name is Adam Gratz, and I'm the senior patrol leader of Troop 148. These fine gentlemen with me are some of our scouts that are currently working on our communication merit badge. So,
Thank you for attending our meeting tonight.
Just so the scouts know that, I think this year, we had 2 Eagle Scout projects that, scouts from different, troops came to the city and requested, or submitted a plan for a project. So we are, excited to have and help the scouting, and as we get a good benefit from it also, but it also, scouting's a good program that we really encourage, and I personally, and I know the park board appreciates anything that, any project that you guys would like to come up with. So feel free to give me a call, and I'll be glad to work with any scouts on any projects. A lot of times we have different groups do community service also. It doesn't have to necessarily be an Eagle Scout project, but if you'd like to do a community project, we could certainly work with you on that also.
Thanks. Is there a meeting to adjourn?
So move.
A meeting, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. We'll need a meeting for it.
I have a
Motion.
motion from Randy.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you very much, everybody.